Yeah, so this is rock and roll. What's up? I'm here with Mr. David Solano, the German sales wizard, the Joker of sales. Met a long time ago, but dude, I wanted to jump on here because you've got so much wisdom to share about not just selling, but everything else, like the internal side, which is what I
Mm.
want to jam on today. So, how's it going?
First of all, thanks for having me here, man. It's really it's time to crush it, and it's good to be here. Um, I admire your work, and it's let me see, it was 2019 when we met. Now it's 26, so a couple of
Yeah,
years ago.
yeah,
And yeah, this is why we're here, because with this, like the intention for me with that episode today, with this interview, is that all of you who will watch this become addicted to piffs.
exactly, exactly. And dude, I've gone through a lot of different sales training. We met in a mastermind back in Traffic and Funnels, their elite program, which is awesome.
Yep.
A lot of the stuff today, like from that, there's still some stuff that use as mental models, but also a lot that I don't. I'd be curious because today I want to talk about obviously like not just like the sales tactics, but the internal stuff because we're always talking about like the resistance and like the work of David Hawkins and yourself identity and your realities. Why don't we just jump into like how your mindset around sales maybe has evolved since we met and like what you're doing now?
Yep. Easy. Let's go through that. So for me, what is sales? If I think it's sales, and if I think about why so many people are stuck in sales, or let's take this, those who are stuck and those who are succeeding with sales, what's like the difference between those of two?
Yeah,
And for me, those who are stuck, sales is more like a life pain,
yeah,
life pain, and those who are succeeding with sales, sales is more like a life force.
mm,
And so what's the bridge between life pain and life force? Personally, for me, my own opinion, my own experience, it's all about the character. So how do you show up? How do you show up in that call? And it doesn't start in the call. It starts when you wake up. This is what you and me learned 7 years ago with the morning formula. That
mm,
thing that when does the day start? The moment you open your eyes, and with which character do you show up? Do you do your morning routine, your prayer, meditation, whatever you do?
yeah.
There is room for everything. You pray to stones, to gods, to whatever.
The sales gods.
Hopefully to the sales god. Hopefully you are your own sales god, because this is what you just mentioned. So a little side note. What did Ben say? The joker of sales. With that, what I mean by that is that you don't need any joker in the outside world to master sales. Everything is within you. We'll talk about this a little bit later. But the most important thing is to how do you start your day? The way you start your day is the way you finish your day, and also through calls. And coming back to your question, and to what I said, either sales is a life pain or life force or harmonious life pain. Because when you think about those people, and you have coached thousands, me too, and those who are stuck, they have like a hypnotic, harmonious rhythm of pain ongoing through sales. There is no
Yeah.
pause. It's always there. It's like predominant, pre-existing. It controls everything. And also the same with those who are winning on the other side, right? If there is a pendulum between pain, life pain, and life force, those
Mm,
are winning. Those are in a hypnotic rhythm of winning. But this rhythm starts within. So I don't want to do this a woo-woo episode or something like that. but it's all about really. I always say, even it was so funny. My Voxer name, it's David Solano. Success starts within.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, man. Well, I think people are addicted to their states. And so there's one idea of that came from the self-development world that I learned and applied to sales. It's like we only can see what we resonate with emotionally, right? Like kind of ties into the power versus force, the levels of consciousness. Someone who's in scarcity or lack, that's all they see. Oh, nobody has money, nobody da, da, da. They only see the obstacles or the things that are like anyway, it causes them to be in this state where sales is pain. It's something that they have to grind through, and every call they have to like wrestle their prospects to buy. And just like you said, then there's people where they're addicted to joy or peace or like having fun. And sales is fun and it's joyful, it's peace. And what do you know? Like people like buying from them more and they get better results. And their life is just all around more harmonious, to use your word. Um, talk to me about the character thing though. But I also just
yeah,
actually just to go back to the morning formula, yeah, like choosing that's the whole idea. When you wake up, you're choosing, okay, am I going to be in a good state today or a bad state? And like locking that in and going from there. But I think the character
yeah,
thing is something that not a lot of people talk
yeah,
about in sales.
yeah. So, but I want to take on that what you just mentioned. Maybe a little bit of background to me because we just straight just jumped in, and
Yeah.
so that those who don't know or why do I have the permission and even why you should
Yeah.
listen,
Why should anyone listen to David? It's probably a good
right?
start before we start teaching stuff.
Yeah, I think why should people listen to me? So first of all, I was the worst person in sales, right? So I wasn't really. I remember. I think. Let me see. I started selling mobile phone contracts,
Yeah.
and I don't know if you have in Canada. This company is called Vodafone. Maybe have you ever heard of
We have like
Vodafone?
I've heard of them, but we have like equivalents.
Yeah, yeah, something like that. And I man, I remember was really my first job, and my mom she dressed me. she
Nice.
she like put out the shirt and she said, "Oh man, you need to look good." And I just came there. I said, "Fuck, I have no clue what I should do there," but it was great,
And this
right?
was like
So
at least 3 or 4 years ago.
yeah, yeah, so, like 2 years ago,
Yeah, in 2 years.
and
I'm also
yeah,
there.
so right now I'm turning 44 in a couple of weeks. Dad of four boys, and I think it was like let me see, like 18, 19, something like that. I don't know. And but I realized it doesn't matter how much I know. The only point for me was, and this is still relevant and still
Mhm.
existing, it was all about connection. It
Yeah.
was all about how good am I connect to convert.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about that too. So
Yeah.
I used
So
to
my
sell.
ability,
Oh yeah,
just
yeah.
give me a second.
Still on David's story. Still on David's story.
Yeah. So
I'll
so
make a
so
note of
my
that.
ability to connect with somebody in order to convert his doubts into faith,
Mm,
right? So people came into that shop and they had a lot of doubts about, oh man, there's this guy. And they told me, you look like you don't have no clue. I said, no, I have no clue. My mommy dressed me and I'm here because I should get this job. It's good. It looks good in my CV and besides school. So this is why I'm here. But what I know is that, and this is something that my grandma told me. So I will talk in a second about my grandma. It's all about understanding people. It's all
yeah.
about giving people room, you know, and it's all about, it's the most important thing is for me when it comes to sales or success or coaching, whatever, is or what's the point? How do I say what are like the most successful coaches, people, teachers, all of that, and we went through. We have been influenced by a lot of them, and for me, those who are the most successful, they have the most experience the most stories to tell, but
Yeah.
they open a room which is really deep, but they don't fill this room with their own stuff. So they leave it empty so that, but their stories, their experiences, these are present, but they don't fill the room with their own stuff. They let the prospect fill it with his own stuff. And this is like the point, the quality of a good coach, the quality of a good salesperson is the one who creates depth and emptiness at the same time.
Yep.
And so what I learned pretty early through my age, through my life story, was to create a room where people feel, oh, I can put in my own stuff.
Yeah.
It's not about that yes, I led them into telling what I want to hear, but I let it be their choice to tell me what I want to hear. You know what I mean? And so I gave them the feeling that, hey, you should say this. And they told it. So they thought, okay, it's their own intention and decision to say what they want to say. And but by the framing, because it's all about
Yeah.
framing, it's all about frame control. And this was the
Yep.
point. But in order to do that, you must be able to connect with the person. And what is so important is that I don't, how you say it in English, that I don't colonialize their feelings and their words. You know, when somebody says this, I
Mm.
just jump on it and continue saying that. So I give it space. I let it be their words, you know, like how do you say it in the old time, the colonialization? How do you say this in English?
Colonization.
Yeah, exactly. I don't
Yeah.
want to colonialize whatever the word is,
Yeah.
their words, you know, or their feelings. And this is what so many salespeople do. When somebody says something, they just jump on it
Right.
and they don't give the prospect space to do that. So based on
Okay.
that, this was what I was doing the entire like 18 years. I think it's like 18 years. No, yes, 18 years. I'm in that game and have done a little bit working on 3 continents. Um, Thanks God, we created a thing like 150 million for client revenue in those years. And you know, and it's been a blessing to see how people healing people from their own problems. And people think they have problems, they just have fucking sales stories. They don't have sales problems, they just have shitty sales stories. So taking people from sales pain into the ability to enjoy sales, because through that journey they understand that they don't have problems, they just have shitty stories. Yeah.
Mm.
And yeah, basically that's what I do.
Yeah. I mean, you're like humble about it, but you've been behind the scene. Like, I think of you as the guys behind the scenes of like just massive companies and you
Yeah. Yeah, there
kind
are
of,
there are a couple of big players in my story, which I have been behind the scenes and also uh, in front of the scenes. But for me, it's you know, and this is why I call myself like the Joker, more being in the background and and leading from behind. So this is that's really the thing. And but yeah, there have been crazy good people, you know, fun times, fucked up times, and got the full range of experience when it comes to leading, building, training sales teams, individuals, good companies, bad companies, whatever, however you want to name it. So there have been a couple of those.
yeah, man. So a few things that you said, like the biggest thing, the first thing you said was about sales about creating connection. I
Yeah,
100% agree. And it just reminded me of when I used to sell this like a dating offer, right, for this girl named Elsa who teaches men how to meet women. I would always have people that have weird limiting beliefs, like, oh, I'm too short, or like I'm bald, or I don't have enough money and all this stuff. And I'd be like, okay, well, hey, like if you were, and this is related to sales, it's like, hey, if you were transported into a room with 30 guys with that look just like you or the same type of person as you, and there's one girl, I'm like, who gets the girl? And the guy would be like, I don't know. Oh, that's a good question. I'm like, well, whoever has the best connection with her, which comes from your communication skills and how, and it would always be like this big like light bulb moment. But I think it's the same with sales because um, I was thinking today of like, I see so many salespeople that don't know how to create that connection with people because who knows? Because they're too scripted or they're just weird and they have this like weird energy about them or they're trying to do something to the person or they're trying to like do sales right. And because of that, it's it like it doesn't matter how good the company's marketing is or their brand or their product, if the salespeople can't build a basic connection, which like once you can do that, then you can create trust and get people to buy. But
Yeah,
it's a big
and
one.
there's if I can add on something on that, I think it will help people, the listeners and watchers here. So what we want is a connection, but what is important for a connection is the ability to be vulnerable, number one,
Hmm.
the, your realness and trust. So if we have those three components, vulnerability, raw realness, and trust, you build like that a connection. And so if I want to connect with you on a deep level, I must be connected with me. And if I'm not connected with me, and this is the point, so which I truly learned the hard way because I went through all like schools of sales which exist, the hard closing, the super closing, the woo woo closing, everything without judgment. There is space for everything. So I did this, I did that, I did that, I did that, I did that, and I collected. And I think it was Russell Brunson who said, "Hey man, I study everybody, and then out of that I do my own stuff." And this is also what I do, what I did,
Yeah.
and I really studied everybody, and also still studying everybody. And but I came to the point a couple of years ago that I found my own path, and I think this is the biggest thing, to find your own way, your way, not to be the best copy of somebody else, because why do so many people copy you, me, whatever, is because they have such a shitty feeling with themselves. So they say, okay, before I'm me, and this comes back to the point that they think they have sales problems, but they have shitty sales stories. So they tell
Yeah.
themselves, I'm not good enough. So let's become like Ben.
Yeah. 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 100%.
And
You gotta like fake it
it,
till you make it type of thing.
exactly. This is the point. And
So that just to throw out what I see as a common issue, if that you're coming from a place of force, right? It's like you're putting
yeah.
on it requires energy to be something you're not,
Yeah.
right? And it's that energy which burns people out.
Mhm.
It like when they're talking on a sales call and you can just tell that like what they run out of things to say. I'm like, oh, oh, I forgot what would Ben say here, or like what would David say here, or what would like
Yeah.
insert sales trainer say. It's like it's like know they get all stuck.
Yes.
It's like, well, dude, like
Exactly.
you have to just have the self trust to drop the any type of process. What I found is like if the sales is really simple when you just have the right philosophies going into it,
Mm.
you're not interjecting any of your own weird stuff, and you can just put all of your focus on the person in front of you, reading the person, tuning into them, listening, being present. Like usually, like it's like okay, like, it's not that complicated, but we make it so complicated by trying
Yeah.
to be something we're not.
Yeah, exactly. Because at the end of the day, and it's not about the sales, people make sales such a big thing. No, man, it's just such a little piece or such a little element in a big chain. but people focus so much on that. Okay, let's zoom in on sales. Let's zoom in on the script. Let's zoom in on the questions. Let's zoom in on whatever he's doing. But no, when does sales start? Basically in your marketing, right? So in the way how you market yourself and the way how you tell stories about your own stuff. So this is when sales starts already in the way how you think about your own product. And so many people come to me and say, "Hey, David, look, we are stuck at whatever." I say, sales is not your problem. Like the last thing you want to fix. First of all, you want to fix something else. It's the founder's way of thinking about sales. Is sales
Mm.
pain? Is sales like the necessary evil? Do I need it? Do I want it? All of those internal states, right? And
Yeah.
and living in trust with sales, yes or no? Do I have a lot of resistance with it? And you have been with also a lot of
Yeah.
companies,
Yeah.
so it's really about the ability to accept what's going on and independently of what's going on, keep going. Don't become the problem. Don't identify yourself with, oh, my closes are shit, because you will send to them this energy.
Hmm.
This energy will affect your salespeople. This energy will affect your sales process. It will affect it. There are a lot of scientific studies that the way how you think, you see it in homes with your plants and with your whatever you have, you know,
Yeah.
is stuff dying at home,
Yeah.
and people say, oh, I don't have a green thumb. No, you have a black fucking energy. That's all the problem you have,
Yeah.
right?
I have a good story about that.
Yeah.
I like a real quick one. So my dad told me that when he was young, he had an apartment full of plants. And one year, like three of his friends died, like his best friends. I
Mhm.
think like two of them committed suicide and one of them died in an accident or something. And he got super, super depressed. And like all of his plants died, but he was still watering them and like taking care of them like all the time. And then it took him like a year to kind of get out of that like funk, really. And then once he kind of started feeling good again, just like clockwork, all the plants just came back alive, which is interesting.
Yeah.
And
It's really,
yeah, dude. So I've definitely seen what you said. I literally think sales is a necessary evil for most people. That's how they think of
mm,
it. I'm
mm,
curious, like, to me, like you have to be sir. I literally have a note right next to my daily target of like how much money I'm trying to make today, and I have my pre-call checklist, my daily
mm,
number, and then I have something right here which says, how certain am I right now in myself as a leader, closer, and a human? My
mm,
financial situation, my offer, my company, the offer owner, my sales process, my prospects, the game of sales in general. And then I write, it says, my current state is dot, dot, dot. And in brackets, I say, accept it and just surrender, resisting it, whatever it is. It's something I remind myself every single day.
mhm.
Like, I think that you got to resell yourself. You got to resell yourself on sales in general. It's like, hey, sales is a good thing. I'm a good person. Like, my offer is really helping people. My company's,
Yeah.
ethical. Sell yourself on your prospect. That was the hardest one for me because I sold to videographers for the past year and a half, and I'd be like, man,
Mhm.
these broke ass videographers, dude. I would start like blaming the leads and blaming the people, and I had to go back and like resell myself. I'm like, nah, dude, it's like, like I'm looking at it the wrong way. I have all these skills now that I've learned to like, and our offer is really good. And I have all these skills. I should be looking at like, man, like I can really help these people. And it was like a daily thing that I had to kind of like resell myself on.
Yeah. It's about shifting really the paradigm from which you're coming from and into which you're going into. And the point is, why do so many people, they like, um should I say, they like flip flop coaches, sales
Yeah.
coaches, sales trainings, flip flop, 1 second, next, 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 next. And the point is that they are changing everything outside themselves, but they are not changing two things: their self-image about themselves. This ties back to the character. And what do you see yourself? And
Yeah.
number two, in which state are you in? Which predominant mood or state are you in? Because
Yeah.
our states define how we think, how we feel, how we act. And let me give you a little example. So I had a client, or one client of mine, she called me. She said, David, I said, how's it going? She said, yeah, so shit. Nothing is working. I said, okay, so what's your mood? I said, what do you mean? What's your mood? I asked her, what is your predominant mood right now? She said, lack, need, no control. I said, amazing.
Yeah.
And then she said, why is this amazing? And
Basically.
then I told her, okay, please explain me how has been your last 24 hours. Yeah, my daughter needed me. She woke up like 5 times in the night. My
Uh-huh.
husband had some issues with business.
Yeah.
My business, my tax advisor, he was lacking data. So
Yeah.
life reflects the state you're living in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it really is like that. There comes in the law of vibration, right? Whatever we vibrate in, outside life will reflect it back to us in circumstances, in clients, in marketing, in lack of money, like a lot
Yeah.
of things.
Yeah. So I can really just like draw a line down. There's like two types of people. And one of the like all those things that you mentioned are like an effect of one, like the core part of this person. Really, like
Yes.
person number one, they feel like they are at the effect of their life. Person
Mhm.
like, and the other people are at the cause of their life. The person at
Yes,
the cause of
exactly.
their life, all those things happen and it doesn't really matter. Because
Mhm.
whatever, I'm still gonna control my mood. I'm still gonna
Mhm.
control my state. I'm gonna do what I do. If stuff doesn't work, I'm gonna figure out why it didn't work. I'm gonna make adjustments. And they're just
Mhm.
they get on. And other people, it's like, oh, my daughter did this, and my husband did this, and then my tax guy and this, and the market and the leads, and it's like they're at the
Mhm.
effect, and like these are
Mhm.
successful people too, like
Yeah.
a lot of the times. And it's not like they're always that person, but you can kind of fall into that.
Yep.
And it's like
Agree.
most people that you, especially when you get on a sales call, like they like that has been their reality for so long of, they're essentially disassociating from the pain of their life, like their coping mechanisms, whatever that is. Like part of this, really, like a part of the sales, like the main thing that the way I see it is like you're really just stopping them and be like, hey, like here's the mirror, like facing up reality to them, getting them to be like, I don't want to look at it. It's like, no, it's like, no, you got to look at it. I'm like,
Yep.
fuck, okay, like look at it. And like, okay, shit. Like, do you want to keep doing this? No.
Yes.
Okay, why? Is like, are you ready to do it? And then the rest is just kind of, you know, holding them to a new standard or a new identity of how they're going to show up differently. And it's one of the
Yes.
most
Holding
powerful
is
things you
one
can do for
thing.
people.
Yeah. So holding is one thing. The other thing is not only holding, but also leading them into giving themselves the permission to hold that frame. So what I mean by that, it's important to lead them through a strategic path. So a lot of people come, let's say, my sales team isn't working. So what they mean by that is that they haven't given them like the
Yeah.
permission or the real like go for it. So the real trust from the founder, because the founder is still looking for something external. And what the point is that when prospects come, whatever type of sales conversation, breakthrough calls, whatever those calls are named right now, it's so important to really lead somebody into what you just said, to accept what's going on, really accept what's going on, because so many people, they come, they say, look, yeah, I want to do 100K a day. Okay, when do you want to do that? Let's say like in 12 months from now. Okay, good. Why don't you do it in 3 months? No, 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 no. I need this, I need that, I need that, I need that, I need that. I say, okay, great. So, because your goal, if you take this 100K payday thing, this
Yeah.
like dream vision future, and then I ask them, okay, what's your philosophy in that? You say, my what? Say, yeah, what's the philosophy in that? What is like the juice, the life force in that? What's in it for you? What's in
Why
it
do you
for your
want it?
prospect?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Why do you want it? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So also who besides you will win from you getting that goal, getting to that goal? And then people say, "Oh, I don't know." Said there's the point. So it's an empty thing, right? It's an empty thing. Nobody besides you benefits from that. And so there will be, to your point, power versus force. It will be driven by force, not by power, right? Because force is something that is like egoistic. Power spreads. Power goes out, force goes inward, and
Right. I mean, it
and
reminds me of like the Alex Hormozy and Tony Robbins interview. Like Tony's
yeah,
like, I got this
exactly.
like moonshot goal to feed X billion people in the next Y
Yes,
years, and it lights me up.
yeah,
It's not like I gotta make $1 billion a month or else I'm a fucking loser.
exactly.
Because
So
I
there
want
is a
to
big
drive it on.
philosophy in that. There's a
Yeah.
really big philosophy in that, and if you know Tony's story, he started feeding families and supporting families when he was, I think, 16 or 17, something
Yeah.
like that. So there is a story inside of that goal. So
Right.
there is a reason, there is a meaning. It means something to him. And so coming back to this point, which I mentioned was about like the 100K. If you have this goal and
There needs
you,
to be
you
juice
take
behind it, you know?
exactly, there must be juice behind it. So the more juice is behind, the better the strategy will be, right? So,
Mm.
but the point also is with a goal like that, why do so many people just freaking set those goals and never start accomplishing or hunting them is because this goal forces you to look naked at your inadequacies which you currently have.
Yeah.
So if you're right
Yeah.
now at like 20K a month and you want to do 100K payday, man, there's a version of you who must die.
100%.
Fact.
Yeah. I mean, that's like my entire philosophy of sales. It's like, okay, what we know is like if you are a person who is deserving of 100K per month, you would already be at 100K per month.
Mhm.
Because you're not there, that means the version of you who you are right now has to change. And
There we
then
go.
the sooner you can accept that and then
Yes.
move into, okay, I accept that I'm not where I need to be. What do I need to do? How
Yep.
how do we make that happen? Well, then
Yes.
you can show them the path and show them, how you do it.
Yep.
And like all the
And
sales conversation is like just getting them to that moment of truth where they can be like, oh shit, like, yeah, you're right. Like, and then it's also the most empowering way to sell people.
100%. 100%. And the point is, you want to lead people into that. You just don't want to throw somebody into that like
Yeah,
moment.
you have to take them through a journey to get there. It's
Yes.
like a hero's journey in a way.
Exactly. And I love that because this is really the entire journey. So you're giving them the permission to transition, right? Like
Yeah,
this pivot moment where they are seeing, they're coming out of the pit and they are seeing the peak
yeah,
because we help them to through those questions, through this what should I say, through this like taking away layer after layer, like an archaeologist who's finding a new city,
yeah,
finding some dinosaurs' bones, whatever. He says, "Oh, look what's there," and everybody knows what's there, right? So everything
yeah,
that's out there starts within here. This is the point. Everything
yeah,
that's out there starts within here. So a house, you don't build a house out there, you build a house first in your imagination. And this is the point. what we want to do through this process, we want to help the prospect to come back to this point where he is naked, where he is accepting, and where he's willing to make our recommendations, future creations, his own. He wants to own them. As long as he's that the prospect is not owning our vision that we have for him, it will always stay a no.
Mm,
Because then it's your dream, it's my dream, but it's not his dream. And he's not able of doing that because of all of the resistance, the doubt, the fear, the pressure. And if you're a
yeah.
salesperson who hasn't dealt with that stuff, and this is what you went through, what I'm going through, what I'm always doing, like transcending into this type of salesperson who really is empty, but I can
Yeah.
hold a strong frame, which
Yeah.
wears depth, and I don't throw in all my experience. Say, hey, you need a little bit more of this, you need a little bit more of that. No, no. I want the
Yeah.
prospect to empty himself, to let everything out, and
Yeah.
then we can have a look. Okay, what's that? Let's throw it away. What's that? Away. What's that? Away. What's that? Away. So ripping away piece by piece, layer by layer, which the prospect has been holding on to till we truly get to the core,
Yeah.
and the prospect is willing to say, okay, this thing who has so long been his truth right now is his lie. So this is basically the point.
Yeah.
We want to lead the prospect to a point where his current limited reality, which he thought was the truth, is a lie,
Yeah.
and he's willing to consider our methodology as that path to the peak, towards lightning, towards the truth. And
Yeah.
when this happens,
Yeah.
then people say, yeah, let's go.
Yeah. If you're, I can see someone listening to this and being like, this all sounds very philosophical, but there's a very like specific way that we do this on a call. Like it's not just, like um there's like a tactical way to do this for people, but some of the main things that came up while you were talking is like number one, like the way that I mean, like Josh Lyon's mastermind, like he always talks about self-actualized selling. It's like, well, when you go through your own hero's journey, it's very easy to see in other people where they're not living up to the truth. And so what you're talking about, like digging away like an archaeologist to find the bones, like what we're really talking about is getting through all the layers of falsehood to get to
Yes,
the truth.
yes.
And then like essentially when like or the lie that they see, like really like what we're selling is like generally speaking, you can call it their identity, their mental model, their axiom. So like it's another thing. There's like two axioms. There's people that their axiom all revolves around comfort, around coping, safety, you know,
Mm,
not taking chances, staying safe, those people. And then there's people who their axiom revolves around growth, reaching their potential, taking risks, you know, going for the most out of life. And
mm,
it's like kind of like what we're doing is showing somebody how, okay, we've gotten through all the like we've got to the pain, we've got to how bad like your situation. Okay, you're in the situation, you don't like it, you want to be over here. The way that you've been showing up is because of this thing. It's like the way that it's something inside of them that it's their fault basically.
mm,
The way they're seeing the world or the way that they're thinking about a situation is like, or the way that their identity's been showing up as somebody's procrastinating or something. It's like, can you see how you are the cause of your problems? Like, oh yeah, shit. Is it fair to say that you will never get over here if you keep doing that? Yeah. Are you done with that? Yeah. Okay. Why now? Why now? Okay. Was there a turning point? Da da da. It's like very specific, but I mean, you can take that method of selling. And the cool thing is like, it has nothing to do with what you're actually selling. Like if I was
mm,
selling like I'll teach you how to make a e-commerce website. And at the end of it, you know what? I don't think you should do e-commerce. I think you should do like crypto, or I think you should do an AI agency, or I think you should do sales or whatever. You build up so much trust with the person by leading them through that because, like I said, you've gone through it yourself and they're seeing you now as somebody who's like, holy shit, I've never had this type of conversation with somebody. I've never had this insight before. They're like, wow, like you are like a freaking god. Like you're really like they're like, who are like what are you? Like I've never had this
Yeah.
type. This is nuts.
I have one thing that I want to, you help them to turn on the light.
Yeah.
That's really the point. But in order that I help you to turn on your light, my light must be on, right? So I cannot come from darkness and say, hey, I will teach you how to turn on your lights, and above my head everything's empty or like dark. But this is what a lot of people do, and this is and why do prospects don't want to turn on the light? Requires truth, requires acceptance, requires, okay, let's look at the freaking facts, not because there are facts and there's fantasy,
Yeah.
right? And what you're talking, what I'm basically talking, and for those, I think everybody gets it, that even if it sounds a little bit spiritual or philosophical, yeah, every philosophy has a strategic framework underneath it, which must be followed, which must be followed, which must be practiced in order to arrive at this point where whatever state is achieved. So you can't just hope, wish, and pray that you will listen to this and then just say, okay, I will just ask those questions, do that. No, you must master the frame. You must go through
Yeah.
that frame in order to get there. And the most important thing is stage one, like make them naked, right?
Yeah.
Help them to get
Do the
naked.
facts. The
Yeah,
data,
just go
facts.
to the facts, right?
Yeah.
And then after the facts, it's important to understand why are people ignoring those facts. And this is the point when it comes to, okay, how long have you been there? And all those strategic questions, those questions. And I think also there's like a really thin line between,
Yeah.
which is being a good coach. Man, I have listened. I remember when I shared with you, Ben, I called you, I think in the middle of the night. I said, man, I just listened to this awkward coaching call, which
Yeah.
I like turned off the display. I said, no, I can't watch that because this dude, he was coaching the prospect to death. And at the end, the prospect didn't buy.
Yeah.
And there's like no coaching. But I think it's more about an understanding what is required in order to help this person to turn on the light. You
Yeah.
don't need a PhD to be a good coach in order to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
What you want to have is like the basic understanding, how do we human function, and when do we humans are stuck, when do we live in significance, like this path from stuck to significance. Knowing what is between those two things, you master that, you will fucking never in your life will have any money issues again. Never.
Yeah. Or potential to power.
Same,
Same
right?
thing. Yeah.
Same thing. So people who are stuck, they are living in potential. They're like some potential seekers. The next book, okay, yeah. So the next book feels like doing something. I just recently just made a post. I just said, hey, I just said you can quote Tony, Dale Carnegie, Napoleon Hill, all of those people. You have mastered their frameworks. So you read all their frameworks. You can spill them out like in robot,
Yeah.
but you have never integrated them into your
But
own
you're
life.
you're not living them.
There we go.
You read the
So
you read the books, but you're not living
yeah,
them.
yeah, because reading feels like doing the work, but it's not. It's just consuming and collecting versus creating. So there's a big difference.
Yeah.
And why do so many people don't start creating? It's because of their resistance. It's because of their own, again, not their problems. We're not living in problems. We're living in shitty stories. It's because of the limiting stories which we tell ourselves. It can't be so easy. Yesterday, coaching client, somebody who's in that game, she makes, I don't know, like 3,000 a day.
Yeah.
And she said, David, yeah, I'm still having problems. I said, no, you don't have any problems. You're doing 3,000 a day, right? So there are no problems. What is, there are stories. And
Mhm.
then she said, oh, said, because you don't have problems. Maybe you're putting in a lot of time right now, but the real problem is the story in which you're living. You're not allowing yourself to give it away, to hire somebody,
Yeah,
whatever.
it's like the straight line leadership book. It's like, do you have problems or you don't have, it's usually you don't have problems, you have a decision that you haven't made.
Exactly. Exactly. And so
Great book.
that's really the point.
Mm. Yeah, and you're like a master of, I'd almost call it like, I don't know about frame control, like definitely frames, but like what you were saying earlier, it's like about like leaving them the space. It's like you want to control the context, they fill it in with their content. And like
Yeah.
when you do that, you don't really, you don't have to do much. Right?
Yeah.
The
Let,
way
let
that
me
you
give you an
sell with
example.
different frames is so good. And I was,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll get after like right before that, I was talking to my friend yesterday who was trying to create a coaching program around detox. And he's like,
Uh-huh.
how should I do it? And blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, okay, pretty simple. Here's an idea. Like you go to the person and you say, okay, so on a scale of 1 to 10 right now, in terms of your energy, where are you? One being you like roll out of bed. You have to drink coffees all day. You feel like shit. 10 is like you jump out of bed, you can run and go do a marathon. Like where are you right now? Oh, I'm like a 5. Okay, and if we were to break it up into these areas of your life, your health, your career, your relationships, your higher purpose or spirituality, your happiness, maybe yeah, let's just use those four. It's like, where is that being a 5 affecting these areas? I'm like, oh, it's here, 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 here. And then next thing you know, they're selling themselves. And all you've done is given them like kind of like this container to
Yeah.
like you're showing them where to look, but you're not showing them like what to see.
Exactly.
They're giving you, he's like, oh man, that's so smart. I'm like, well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
what we're
Yeah.
doing.
Agree. And it's all about creating pictures, creating pictures and creating stories.
Yeah.
In For myself, because everybody recognizes with the house.
Yeah. The classic
Everybody.
house analogy. It's all good.
Everybody recognize themselves with the house. Okay, look, good. So if you're let's say you're selling ads, you're an ads agency. Okay, good. So for those, should I do like the little example? Would it
Yeah.
help?
Yeah. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
So let's say you want to buy ads consulting, and I would just say, hey, look, man, your current ads, think like about a house, and this house influences 5 areas of your life. Number one, this house influences your state of being, how you are as a human being. Number one. Number
Yeah.
two, those ads, the outcome of those ads, they influence your body,
Yeah.
your energy, your vitality, how much do you go to the gym? Even if this seems like
Yeah.
to be far away, no, it's not. It's
Yeah.
it's it's the fact of how your ads are working. Because if your ads aren't working, you think you must put in more work, so you skip the gym.
Yeah. You're not sleeping
And
because you're up, wake up at 3 a.m.
exactly,
about
you
your
stay
shitty
up
ad.
late,
Yeah.
whatever. Then the next piece is your bonds, your relationships.
Yeah.
How is the outcome of the ads influencing, maybe also controlling your relationships? How are you showing up as a dad, as a husband, as a friend, as a lover, as a son, whatever? And so, and then there is two more areas, which is your business and your bank account. So, what for me was the smartest way of selling was, instead of me telling people how their reality looks like, which doesn't work. Nobody wants to
Yeah.
hear
Yeah.
what I say,
Yeah.
because this is not what is the one thing that we humans hate is change. Good. So you must have a really good reason and meaning in order to change.
Yeah.
So it's not my meaning, it's your meaning. But my work is to help you understand that what your meaning is right now about your current reality because of your ads is shit. It's your
Yeah,
job,
yeah,
but my job is to lead you into that so that you can understand, oh,
yeah, yeah,
ads mean to me right now creates friction, resistance, pain, stress, anxiety, anger, lack,
yeah.
uh, whatever in
Hmm.
my life. So this current reality is not a success reality, it's a failure reality.
Yeah,
Fact.
because of
And
your ads.
exactly because of your ads. And then people, the ones who are able and willing, will have an honest look. Will say, okay, I'm ready to take ownership
Hmm.
about that. Because what everybody wants is control,
Yeah,
but what only the 1% is willing to take on is responsibility. So everybody wants control, and every training, every like average GI Joe, sales Joe, consulting tells them, yeah, with me you will have control. Okay, good, but control without responsibility doesn't help,
yeah,
you know. And this is the point. So for me, the ability to learn how to frame, pre-frame people into something, it made the job so easy. And this was something that I learned from our past mentor, Taki. He mentioned
yeah,
the example with Batman. So Batman has tools. It's not about Batman, it's about his tools, right?
yeah,
So it's not about me, it's about the tools that I can give to you. Of course, I must be good as the person using those tools. It's important, but how
yeah,
good are the tools that you use? So framing is a skill. It has nothing to do with me, but I must be willing and able to use those frames because the meaning of frames to me mean everything. No frame, no game. This is basically the point.
yeah, yeah.
If you don't master the frame, you will never win the game. That's it.
Yeah. It's interesting. I mean, I've known, you know, for anyone watching this, the house analogy, you just think of like the floor is the being, and then the body is the wall, the bonds, your relationships are the other wall, and then the roof is like your business and their bank account. I've never actually thought of it like selling ads, but it makes so much sense because really all you're doing on a call is getting them to see, okay, like this problem here is affecting all of your life. You're making the problem way bigger, right? And
Mm.
so, like in like Josh's world, he calls it going horizontal, but you're just like making that process way easier by just drawing it out and be like, okay, like how does it affect this? How does it affect this, and kind of leading them through that. Where
Yep.
like generally, if you're doing it like in a scriptless way, you'd be like, okay, so you go deep into like the problem that they're on a call, which is like my ads aren't working. Okay, what's going on? What's your conversion rate? You know, like how what are you spending on ads? First, I guess first of all, what types of ads are you running? Okay, got it. Facebook.
Mm.
How much are you spending a month? How many leads are you getting? How many calls are you booking? How many are closing? What's your how much cash are you collecting? What's your revenue? Okay, got it. So you're making this much money. How long have you been making this much money for? Okay, this long. Okay, so like in what ways is the business being held back because you're only making this much money? Oh, well, we're not able to do this and this and this. It's like, okay, and like, is that affecting you personally? Yeah, in what way? And usually they will like tell you what thing is, oh, well, I'm like, dude, like, because I'm not making this much money, I can't hire people. So therefore, I'm not spending time with my kids. Like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, tell me more about that. And then really, it's like, it, it's the same idea, but yours is showing them how it's like affecting everything in a
Yeah.
simple, concise way.
Yeah.
Ours
And
is like
and
they're just kind of telling you what's the most important to them. They still get to the same destination.
yeah.
Yours is
And
like way easier, to be honest, like 10 times easier.
And one thing which is important, you don't want to do what I just said without the clarification. Okay, what type of ads? You need all those answers prior before you lead somebody into like this fact check.
Yeah,
What type of ads are you doing? How much are you spending? What would you like to spend? All of that. And and the point is, what I have seen is that because I went through so many sales calls, I listened to so many sales calls, and for me, all those like this answer gathering, this information gathering is relevant and important,
Hmm.
but nothing will change until somebody has true awareness, because everything starts and ends with awareness. So I've seen so many people who hired agencies. Let's stick with the thing of ads, but they never took like full ownership of it,
Yeah.
right? And because why? Because the reality, the truth that those ads are still affecting their personal life, their parenting, their energy, all of that, they don't admit. If they would
Right.
admit, or let's say like that, if the ads agency sales rep would be able to find out that the way how the prospect right now is running ads is affecting his energy, the meaning about ads from the prospect would
Yeah.
totally shift. I say, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. It
you would
basically creates
build,
a bigger problem.
exactly, you would build a machine that could buy back your time in order to go to the gym,
Yeah.
right? And
So
so
it's like,
this is really the point, so that people understand that they don't say, okay, yeah, I just want to implement this house thing. No, no, you don't. You need everything. You want everything. You want the entire puzzle. Not only that, because everything is related, but the mission critical, like the money moment, lies in there. How how willing and good are you to hold somebody in a room where, like you mentioned, they must look into the mirror about their being, about their body, about their bonds slash relationships, about the business, and about the bank accounts in regards to the thing that you're selling, that you're consulting them in order to do that. Because if somebody said, no, I don't want to talk about my relationship. No, I don't want to talk about my being. I don't want to talk about that. Okay, it could work, but I really don't believe that it will work, because we are not just one-dimensional human beings. We are affected by a lot of things, right? Let's say, okay, maybe you build a parking or a parking house. Okay, I don't think that this thing, and you just want to, or a washing room where you put like 5 washing machines in there. Okay, I don't think that this thing will affect a lot your bonds, but if it's only that, it will affect your bonds, right? If this room is not running and all of that, and you're always out of business, out of the house, and then you must take care of that, it will affect. So we are always connected to everything. And this is the big point, which I want to say. Somebody tells you, no, no, this has nothing to do with your personal relationships. It has a lot
yeah.
to do with your personal relationships. It has a
Yeah.
lot to
How
do.
could, you know, it's
Yeah,
affecting
it has a
you
lot
and
to do
you're
if you,
affecting your entire life.
yeah, it has a lot to do if you're struggling in business and you're a dad. Your
Yeah.
kids will sense it. Your kids will feel it, because every 2 minutes you're checking that phone. And
Yeah.
your kids will say, Daddy, please, can you put the phone away? Can we play? And all those things. And I've been there. I've
Yeah.
been there. And I know
So no,
how ugly. Yeah.
yeah, no, dude, literally. I mean, it really goes another thing that I think I first learned from Eli Wild. He talks about like the logical levels of NLP. Um, Essentially, like what you're doing is like if you want to talk about how to charge more money. I mean, they're on a call because they're like, oh, I'm looking for new ads. And like ads is like kind of a commodity. Everyone does it. Really, it's like maybe I could find somebody to do it for less or whatever. But it's like if you go up to things that they value more and more and more, like what do you
Mm.
value more right now? Like, would you give up your health for better ads? No. Would you give up your health if your family was happy and healthy? Probably, yeah, actually. So your family might be higher if you have kids, you know? Would you give up your like the happy and healthiness of your kids for a business? I mean, probably not. So in other words, like the most important person to someone like you, if you're trying to sell David into something, it's like, hey, dude, like this thing here that you're on a call for, obviously it's important enough for you to be taking an hour out of your day to book in a call and talk to us about it. Like, let's see how this is affecting the thing that's most valuable to you. and show you how, like, hey, dude, like this is a bigger problem. Like, how much is this worth? Like the happiness and future of your kids. And well, oh my
Yeah.
God, what's going to happen if this doesn't change? It's going to
There
get
we go.
worse.
Yeah,
Are you willing
exactly.
to settle for that?
Yeah.
Why is this happening in the first place? And then we can just, you know,
Yeah.
go
And
from
then
there.
there is no more about um
Let me think about it. I got to talk to life.
no, I need to talk to my no, it's then it is okay. Is it a now thing or maybe like 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 1 month thing, right? It's not about that this is not important and meaningful for me. It's
Yeah.
yeah. And it's just about the timing and the resources at this moment, right?
The
And but
urgency,
then
literally. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So there has to
And
be like three things in a discovery in my mind. There's a cost. So there's an opportunity cost or something. It's directly is what we're talking about right now. Like this problem is a big enough problem for you to do something about it. Like it's a serious problem. You're gonna exchange money to solve it. And
mm,
urgency is like, okay, like it's not like a future thing, it's like a now thing.
mm,
And then everything else after that is just like the resistance to them moving in that direction. What are all the things that could come up which would stop them, slow them down? Could be limiting beliefs, lack of money,
yep,
lack of time, spouse. It could be a million other things. And in general, like the way I see sales is once we're clear on the cost and the urgency, that's going to inspire someone to take action. The
mm,
thing that's going to get them through all the obstacles is not by eliminating every single obstacle, but it's about like helping them shift their identity into a person that can smash through all the obstacles. So you
yeah,
do that. They do that for you. But I just want to say something too. You mentioned that just to go back to the tool thing you were talking about. So yeah, I mean, sales is like how many tools do you have? How good are the tools? But also knowing
mm,
when and where to use them. Just
yes.
throwing tools at random things, with the hammer.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It
This is
doesn't
what
make
most
sense.
people
So
don't teach.
so Batman knows when he drops the
Smoke bomb or something.
yeah, exactly. He knows it.
Yeah, don't use
He
it
does the
against
smoke.
Bane because that didn't
Yeah,
in the movies.
he doesn't just drop a smoke bomb and then the hammer and then this. This would be like, oh fuck, I just lost all my
Yeah.
tools. So timing is a big thing.
Yeah, well,
Timing
I
is a
mean,
big
remember in the movie, like, in the Batman movies, like
yeah.
he's fighting Bane. He throws a thing and it makes all the lights go off and it makes all these sparkles, and then he's like, "Oh, like you're like you like I see you've been initiated." Well, I mean, so have I. He just grabs him like another guy probably would have all been disoriented and Batman would
Yeah.
have taken him out, but wrong tool for the wrong guy.
There we go. Exactly. And in order for knowing when to throw what, you want to have a frame, right? A frame or a sequence, whatever. And why are sequences so important? I say so little swings open big doors.
Yeah.
And this is the thing. Like when you're cooking, you can't skip a thing. You need to
Yeah.
do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
Yeah,
nine,
yeah.
10.
You
And
can't
in one
like cook if you got to cook the cake on 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 20 minutes or
yeah.
like you can't turn it up to 800 and cook it for 10 minutes. You know what I mean?
No, no, will not work. Will not work. And the point is why so many people also like are addicted to strategies.
Mm,
Would love to drop that. So don't become a strategy addict. It's important that you also are addicted to your conviction and courage about your own product. So if you truly deep down in your belly don't believe that your thing is the thing, stop selling it.
yeah.
Stop selling it. And I've seen so many great people living in mental, emotional,
Yeah. You're
physical pain.
looking at one. I've been there.
Yeah, because they, and also me too, not being willing to accept that my shit is great. I always had a reason, or I thought I had a reason. I thought I had a reason, but the only thing I had was a fucking excuse to not take full ownership and go all in. right?
Yeah.
And
I thought you were going to say somebody that was just selling something that was horrible, but yeah, that too. Both of them.
yeah, and that's really the point that that I think most people that have really great stuff, they're really a great product, but they like overcomplicate and over. Let me give you an example. Somebody who's really great in energetic healing. It's crazy. So they are, I don't know, 18 years of experience into that. So they came to somebody, and this coach hypnotized them in becoming an online coach. I
Right.
said no. So they left him, and we started working. And I said, you're not an online coach. You're
Right.
the person who does a retreat. You're the person who does like in person something. You want to take people through an experience and not a bazillion Zoom calls.
Yep.
And it's important to. So what happened? Why do I say that right now? Because their conviction was at their lowest, so their courage to pitch their thing was at their lowest.
Yeah.
This led to the fact that there was no cash, that there was no income, right?
Yeah.
Because they bought the lie that they are something that the coach is, you know? So the coach wasn't able to truly, coming back to what I said, to connect with the prospect to say, hey, what is it that you don't want? One thing that I always start, how do you don't want to sell? I want to know, right? Because when you give people room to how do you don't want to be perceived, seen, and whatever, then there is a story behind that. Like this lady said, I don't want to be seen as a healing coach. I said, oh, okay. I don't want to be seen as a woo-woo woman. Okay. So the other coach, she led her into this woo-woo communication. But deep
Right.
down, she had a lot of friction with that woo-woo communication. And the first thing that I did, how do you don't want to communicate and why?
Yeah.
And then she started talking, telling me everything. She said, da, 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 da. I don't want to be this. I don't want to be that. 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 Okay, good. Why? Tell me more about that. And what else? So really simple. So getting at one point to make it a little bit strategic here and like so that people can get something out of that. I ask people, okay, how do you don't want to be seen in this field of play? How do you don't want to sell? How do you don't want to be seen in ads? How do you don't want to be a leader, whatever? And then they give you an answer. And the first question I ask, you might have your reasons for saying that. What are they?
Yep.
And then everything comes down. And I say, okay, tell me more about that. What else? Tell me more about that. What else? It's really simple, right? Like three questions in, and I get all the data that I need in order to help them build a better future for themselves. Or first of all, build a better present. And from this present, they are able to build a better future.
Hmm. So telling them how do they not want to sell or how do they not want to be perceived?
Yeah.
I think we kind of skipped over a little bit of it, and one of the things that we talk about a lot is like the success character, your
Mm.
self-image.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
How do you how do you feel like in your world like let's say we take somebody and tactically they've got the trainings, they got the knowledge, but their success character or their image or like their character is wrong. Like wh- what happens?
Mm. What happens if the character is wrong? So my let's break it down. My definition of a character are multiple pieces, right? It's not just this one thing. Like here, take this. There's a character. Your character
Right.
is built on a couple of things, and the character has a lot to do with what you value, your values, how you think about yourself, what is your predominant state, and those things. So it's not just one thing. These are a lot of moving pieces into that,
Yeah.
right? It's like a car. A car is not only just the window and the engine and the wheels. No, there is a lot
Yeah.
of stuff inside of the car that makes the car. So also the same thing with a character. There are a couple of components which lead into that, but I want to make it really, I want to break it down. So number one is your convictions. It's like all about the internal stuff, right? Self-image, all about that. Then number two is about the clarity that you have, your goals, your systems, your methodologies, and what do you want to achieve things. Then so we're having the conviction, the clarity, then we have the competences. And
Yeah.
out of my life experiences, there are three. When you're in the consulting space or
Mm.
selling, teaching, whatever, I think it ties down to a lot of life areas. It's number one, it's your ability to communicate. How good is your communication? Are you able to communicate in a way that's unforgettable? Let's make it simple. If I talk to my 4-year-old son and he forgets what I say, it's not his fault. It's my fault.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So my ability to communicate might be shit.
Yep.
Or to my spouse, to my team. Number one, it all starts with communication. How good, how potent is your communication? Because the
Yeah.
communication creates community, right?
Mm.
If you're not able to communicate, people will not be willing to build to connect with you, to build a community with you, and to come together into a communion with you. So it's really important. So number one is communication. Number two is your ability to coach, sell, influence somebody,
Right.
right? And which is important. So taking again the example of my boy, if I can communicate with him so that he listens to me, but I'm not able to influence, coach, sell him on the thing that I want him to do or stop doing, not a
Right.
lot of things will happen. And then is the last element in the competencies is your ability to lead. So if I can communicate, if I can coach, but I'm a shitty leader, I have a problem.
Yeah. Which is like, I think one of the core problems in salespeople today. Which is actually those probably the first one, like just through communication, and then probably more. I say it's probably 80-20. Like 80% they're bad leaders themselves, and
Yeah, agree.
or maybe like 60 20-20. There's a lot of
Yeah,
overvalue like
definitely.
the influential skills, I mean, sales skills,
Yeah,
whatever you want to call them. Communication, I think, is there's like two parts to it. Number one, how effectively can you extract the data from people, and then the
yes.
other part is how effectively can you know,
Give it back.
like give it back. Yeah, a
Yeah.
great book on that, about specifically about writing, but I mean it kind of ties in general. It's like it's called Brilliance Breakthrough by this guy named Eugene Schwartz.
Mm.
He wrote Breakthrough Advertising, which is like a famous copywriting book that
Mhm.
every copywriter has read it. But in the Brilliance Breakthrough, the way that because it's all about, he's like teaching grammar, but like how to put ideas into people's heads and how to communicate. It's literally the subtitles, how to speak so people never forget you. And the whole idea
Mm.
is every sentence needs to be like an image that you're putting into people's heads. And
Yeah.
then as a result, basically the whole idea, the thing that makes people want to buy from you is like in copy. It's when they can see themselves getting the benefits from whatever you sell, and it's like that's the thing that creates emotion in them and makes them want to buy, which is interesting. But
Yep.
I think the big one is it's leadership, right? So it like I was gonna do a whole video on this, just breaking it down, but like what are some of the things that you look at as far as like someone's leadership ability?
Number one, it starts again with yourself. If you can't move yourself, you will never be able to move others. Really, really simple example. Let's take Jeff Bezos and the
Yeah.
person who's in Walmart at the cashier.
Right.
So I know people will say, "Oh, how can you compare those two?" Yes, I can, and I do it because Jeff Bezos, he moves himself in a really good way. So he's clear. He has his daily goals, his tracking. He's on point. He knows what he wants. He knows what he doesn't want, and
Yeah.
so he's taking ownership about himself.
Yeah.
And because he has done that on a really high level, so he has got excellence into that. For me, excellence is nothing more than habits, right? It just became a habit. And he has a habit of doing things in a specific way to a specific standard, which leads
Yeah.
him
There
out
it
of
is.
his experience to a specific outcome. And because he has
Yeah.
done that so often, people are recognizing him as a person of value, and they start listening to him and what he does. He teaches what he's doing to others, and he is doing this on a really, 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 really big scale. And if we take the person without judging, who's a cashier at Walmart, I
Yeah.
don't think that this person is moving him or herself in that way, just like personal, on a personal level. Because this person in Walmart is a human being, Jeff Bezos is also a human being. So at the being side, there is no difference.
Right.
No difference. No difference. Same, same.
The results in life a little different.
Exactly.
Yeah. So to me, like what I got, and this is one of the core things that I 100% agree with is their standards. Like leaders maintain a higher standard, and part of sales is like, hey, I'm not lowering my standard for you to, join my thing. We have high standards, and you have to like rise to the occasion to,
Yep.
to join our thing. That's part of it, leadership. The other thing, which you said, which I think is like most people in general, I think do not value their time
No.
very
No.
highly at all. If you look at all the things that
No.
they're doing on a day-to-day basis, where is their time going? Who are they spending time with? What are they, you know, I know that in with your coaching right now, you're talking about mental diets and stuff. Like what are they
Yeah.
feeding into their mind? Like, do they have a high standard in these areas and do they value their time high? Like those are probably the two biggest parts of leadership. And then on a sales context, I think it's about leadership is like leading someone to see the truth of like the truth versus the way that they've been living their lie. And there's probably more to it
Yeah.
than that, but I think
Yeah. There's one big thing. I think everybody knows this company, acquisition.com, and there's somebody that you and me know, Sharon Shavista. Uh, I think he's the CEO right now of that company, and I've been with him in the same mastermind. And I had a couple of chats with Sharon, and he really gave me. I'm so thankful for him. And he mentioned four things to me. He said, "David, look, let's talk about time." And he said, "You're not living here forever.
yeah.
So how are you taking ownership about your time? Number one, so
Hmm.
time. And if we take the cashier and Jeff Bezos, Bezos knows and he owns it. He's aware of that his time is not infinite. So in this time frame that God, the universe, whoever has given him, he wants to make out the best of it.
Yeah.
he's not wishing and hoping that someday maybe somebody will come up and say, "Hey,
Yeah. He's not like
now
waiting
you
to be
got the
saved.
permission to do it."
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
And so it's about really owning your time. Don't think that you have unlimited time. You don't. You don't have unlimited time. Number two, are
Urgency.
you a master in your craft?
Yep.
Are you a master in your craft? Unfortunately, great people which I consult, they are really master, but they think they aren't because of stories that they are telling themselves.
Mm.
So they stop mastering their craft. It's easy to build mediocre shit.
Yep.
Super easy. Super easy. It takes time to write the masterpiece.
Yep.
And so it's time, work, whatever mastery,
Hmm.
enjoyment. How much do you enjoy what you're doing? Are you enjoying the present moment? Yes or no?
Yeah.
And you can
Big one. And
you
enjoyment's one of the biggest ones.
just
It's
give me
like,
a sec. I just want to finish on that. Then we can go. So it's about time. If you're not able to enjoy the present moment, even if you invest time wisely, you master your thing, you're the best at the best, but you don't enjoy it, you will fuck it up. And then the last point is to plan the life.
mm,
Nobody lands per accident on the Kilimanjaro.
yeah.
Nobody. There is a path, a strategic path towards that climb.
Mm, yep.
And this is really the point. So, how much do you value time? Do you think you got infinite time? Are you mastering your craft? Do you enjoy the present moment? And are you planning towards failure or towards success? Even
Mm,
if you tell yourself, I'm not planning, yes, you are. Because there is an unknown script which is running your life.
hmm.
And based on your convictions and on your clarity, the script will be revealed or not. So we have clarity, no, we have convictions, clarity, competences, and then the concept. So the concept is the last piece, which number one is your big idea. And the big idea, you know it. For me, it made so much sense to understand the big idea. So my big idea is all about the success character, right? There's like the predominant belief that I teach my clients, hey, look, you can do everything, but without the character, you won't do it. You won't get it.
Yeah.
And it comes from Nike. Just do it, right? It's a belief, it's an attitude, it's a paradigm into which you come in. So it's the big idea. Then it's your own pit to peak journey, understanding your own journey, right? Understanding how was your shit show going on. Man, my life was a long time shit show. A couple of months ago, it was a real shit show, and being okay with that, but understanding that this our um our wounds create our wealth, right? Our wounds can
Mm,
become weapons who lead us towards wealth. And this is an important thing. So it's all about accepting those wounds, not just go into that and just do some inner work stuff or child. You can do that, good luck, but you don't need, you will just burn a lot of time and money. And you want to understand that. Then the last thing is okay, is having your own model. No, you and me, we know somebody who's a genius in that field, and everything that I learned about models comes down big credit to Simon Bowen,
oh yeah.
and really about the godfather of models, of genius models. And I'm really happy that I could learn so much from him, and creating your own success model, your own success methodology, which will show up in your business. And those elements tied together, they define the character.
Hmm. All right. A lot of things there. Like you kind of mentioned it twice, and I'm like, okay, we're gonna have to talk about this because it sounds like it's very important. Um, which is the stories that people tell themselves.
Mhm.
Um, I was just gonna make a comment on the enjoyment thing. I've heard it said by Chase Hughes, I believe, that enjoyment is like the magnetic, it's like the X factor. Like someone that really enjoys their life, that's what makes them magnetic. And enjoyment, his thing is like enjoyment, gratitude, leadership, confidence, and discipline as far as like what makes somebody an authority, which people
Yep.
automatically trust. But anyway, the story. Um, tell me about that. Like, so you say we don't have problems, we have stories. And
Yep.
then you mentioned it another time, just a few minutes ago.
Mhm.
Like, give me an example of maybe a story, like what story that maybe that you had that once you overcame it, it was like a big aha moment, changed a lot for you, like what, or maybe something with your clients.
Yeah. Um, for me, a story was I need stuff. I need things.
Okay.
I need things. I need the next mentor. I need this. I need that. I need that. I need that. So this story was leading me towards hunting and chasing coaches and mentors.
Yeah.
And
Been there.
so, I could go deep right now into how a story is built, all of that, but I don't want to do that. So there's a lot of, because in a story, there's always a lot of emotion inside of that.
Mm,
And it's important to understand that a story doesn't just shows up. A story is created through the life experiences that we made,
yeah.
that we went through the pain that we went through the struggle that we went through, and also through the beliefs that has been created by telling ourselves that story. So one of my own stories was, being me
It's not
is
enough.
dangerous.
Ah,
Being
okay.
me, being me is dangerous.
Yeah.
And in order to win, I must be somebody else.
Mm,
So what did David do? David became the best German copy of Eli Wild, of some
tough.
ways Tony Robbins,
Yeah.
right? So many things, because I had the story. I was living in the story that being me isn't good. Why? Because I had some life experiences done, which led me to the point when I was me. I had some fucked up moments, and this is right now when, and this was the limiting story. Being me is dangerous.
Mm,
David, if you are you, you will lose everything. So
mm,
don't be you, be somebody else. Being somebody else gives me the permission to show up in those big players' tables, at those big players' tables. Because I'm not just David, I'm whatever I created in my mind.
yeah.
But who was running the show? Still David, right? And so, because I never changed this core story, the energy of that story, the impact of that story, the cause of the story was still part of my life. And the point was to really dig deep into that story, and to understand, why am I telling myself that? What have been like the moments we had it in the beginning, which I didn't want to accept because they have been so painful, right? So, and painful is a good thing, but I truly believe it's really important to find new ways to to think about your past.
Yeah. So also the lie that you were living, telling yourself.
Yes, and so this story hypnotized me a lot. It moved me towards investing a lot amount of money in myself, which is great. I'm thankful that I did it. So right now, I really can spot within minutes what story on which story, aka which song is somebody running, right? So I always say the story is like a song. I say, okay, on a scale of one really low volume and 10 really full volume, how loud is your story running that you can't do that?
Yeah.
And then people say, oh, I say, what if you turn it down? How much impact does this story still have on you? It's gone. Say, okay, but what is like the natural tendency to turn it up again? Because there's a void, right? So through silence, we will diagnose the truth. So, and in the word silence, there is another word is listen. If you take silent and listen, the same letters, just in a different like
Yeah.
order.
Yeah.
And what most people don't want, they don't want to listen. So they never become
Wait,
silent.
silent. Oh, it does have a T. Yeah, you're right. Shit. I never knew that.
Yeah.
Wait. Silent. Oh, silent. I was thinking silence. Yeah,
No,
silent.
silent.
Silent and listen. Okay, I see it now. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
And in order to listen, you must be silent and the other way around. And through that, I came to the point, I must listen. Okay, to what am I not listening? Am I listening to the noise or to the signal? Right? So noise signal is what am I going towards? It's in my model, it's like the clarity. Where am I going to? I call it the Hall of Fame goal. What is bigger than my industry and my reality? Which becomes my legacy, where I want my next 10 generations to be fed by that thing, right? And so am I willing to connect with that and those things? Um so this has been the really biggest story who has been uh running my life, commanding my life, not being me. And does that mean that I stop being mentored by people? No, it doesn't mean that. It means that I know my worth. I know who I am. I know what I'm capable of because I've done it 1,000 times in people and in myself.
Mm.
So I'm now coming from the point, okay, what is it that this person can add to my magic, into my reality, in order to take my reality into a 10x reality? So I'm really selective in who I let influence myself, right?
Mhm.
And I think this is a big thing that people follow blindly somebody and allow them to influence their way of thinking, being, personality, energy, right? Just because maybe this person wrote a book. Man, I can write the book in 5 minutes through ChatGPT. Super easy. And yeah, so this was one thing, also following the wrong people, which never has been wrong, but I didn't really like, I didn't know where I want to go. So I just followed anybody, right? Anybody who had something to show me, because I was so focused on the external stuff in the beginning, which is great, right? I love having nice things. And but then at one point I combined having peace, internal peace, or let's say like this, internal peace and loving my life led me to leading my field and uh, growing my external material wealth.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I think people can get into this. I know for myself, we've had these conversations where you start looking at the things that you're lacking right now. You're like, oh, well, I don't have this and this, so therefore I can't do this. But you're like, well,
Mm.
man, like, why are you looking at this little thing that you're missing? It's like if you look at a scale, it's like you're looking at two little data points and
Mm.
you're like making it so heavy, but like what about all the people that you what about all the people you worked with, all the money you invested, the companies that you worked with? Like what about like why don't you look at all the evidence that you have, which is pointing you towards where you want to go and like
Yeah,
reasons why you should be doing it, why you're more than qualified. And I'm like, it's like, oh yeah. Um,
I agree.
yeah, it with the story thing, it's interesting because it's to me, it sounds like you were when you say it was dangerous to be yourself, it's like you have to put on a costume and you're identifying
Yeah,
with the costume versus
exactly.
yeah, like versus who's running it. But I mean,
Yeah. So one example, uh, it was my dad and me. We didn't have in my teens. We didn't have like the best relationship. So there was a moment where something happened with my siblings, and I showed up as the big brother, which I'm supposed to be. So the protector, and I protected them. And in order of that, I was kicked out of the house. So I became basically homeless
yeah.
because of I showed up as who I am. So this created a wound. This created a belief that being me is dangerous.
Hmm.
And so what I did, I took this identity of being a protector and I throw it away. This led to the point that I built great things, but I didn't protect them. So I always went building, destroying, building, destroying, building, destroying, building, destroying, building, destroying, building, destroying, and which is good. So I know how to do that. I know how to build and how to destroy, and I can recognize this pattern right now in other people. And I see when people start sabotaging themselves like a little parasite, when they are just yeah, doing it by themselves because they are telling them a limiting story. And this was like, no, I don't want to go too deep into that. It's not for here. And yeah, this was basically the background of it when this limiting story was born. And then I
Okay.
had multiple other live moments. I call them moments of impact, which impacted me. And now looking backwards, there's like the predominant limiting belief, which is good, which is
Mm,
like my superpower right now because I can spot that within minutes in people.
yeah.
What's the story that you're telling yourself? Uh, that. Okay, sure. I have also something else. Oh no. No, nothing else. I say, okay, good. And so we, through that, I stop talking to the mask and I connect directly with the human being. And I believe that this is one of the biggest problems that sales reps have. So here's the sales rep, here's the mask, and here's the real human being. And because the sales rep is not connected with himself, he's only talking with his own mask. He's used to talk with everybody else's mask.
Mm,
And as soon the prospect, no, the sales rep puts down his mask, well, everybody wears a mask. I get that. Everybody wears a mask. And I do my best to show up as maskless as I can. It's not always easy, right? It's not always easy. And but I really try to be as real, as raw as possible without a mask. About some things, I just don't talk in specific settings, so the setup must be right. But I don't want to go into that. So it's important that the sales rep is connected with himself in the best possible way for him. And as soon he's connected with himself, he will recognize that the prospect is putting a mask in front of him to protect himself from change or transformation, or now taking ownership in order to change.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I resonate a lot because I've gone through my own internal journey. Similar. I have my own issues that I realize now. I'm like, man, like I can probably think of three or four, maybe five of them where I'm like, these things have cost me so much. But it's instantly when I talk to people, I can instantly see in other people how they're doing the same patterns. It's because,
Yeah.
like we're not that different. Like usually this patterns play out in the same way. And I had a guy that I had a call with in our mastermind, and he sent me a video after. He's like, dude, it's like you have this ability to speak right to the soul. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
it's kind of like what you're talking about. Like we're see like
Yeah,
right
exactly.
the mask into the person.
Yeah. And
It's like a
I watched
superpower.
yesterday, the old Mortal Kombat, and this is when
Nice.
who is it? It's not Sub-Zero. No, I love Scorpion King. It's Scorpion King when
Scorpion.
he,
Scorpion.
yeah, yeah, Scorpion when he sends out this thing which goes straight through every barrier into the body, and then he says, "Come here," and he pulls somebody in, right? So this is basically what
Yeah.
what I do. I just throw that thing, those questions. In this case, I throw the questions, then this things comes out, it hits, and I say, "Come here," and I pull them really out of their false reality, like in what is it? Doctor Strange, where Doctor Strange meets the old
Oh
one,
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
and
Ancient one.
yeah, the ancient one, and she pulls him out of his current creepy reality and shows him what's possible. So that, yeah, really, this is the point. So in calls, my only goal is to take somebody through that Doctor Strange moment where the ancient says, "Open your eyes." And she
Yeah.
pulls him out of his physical body into the elements of possibility and shows him what's really possible. And he sees everything. He's totally hyped, totally hooked, totally high on everything. And then he comes back into this shitty, mediocre, creepy reality. And he says, "What was that?"
Yeah.
"Nothing. It was just tea." "Oh, give me more." "No, you're not
Yeah.
ready for this yet."
Yeah. Like, teach me.
"Yeah, teach me
Yeah, man.
that." Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really that.
It's interesting because like as you're talking, it's like one thing I was thinking about is how we like when we're born, we're kind of like this like blank slate, but as we grow up, we like obviously not everyone has the same reality. Right? Like
Mhm.
everyone's kind of living in their own reality. That's why they have
Yeah.
Jeff Bezos lifestyle and then the Walmart cashier
Yeah.
lifestyle. And it's like the people that I see, especially in sales and business, like we create these artificial walls around us based on what we think is possible, what's right for us. And it's like we create these rules for ourselves, and then there are people that learn how to break those rules and start playing by their own
Mhm.
rules, and which they go off and do crazy things, and you see that like, well, how are they doing that? And really, it's the process of changing these stories, eliminating these I mean rules that you're artificially living by. Like for example, like we were speaking the other day about how if somebody wants to go, like you mentioned, the guy his goal was to buy the soccer like
Yeah, the soccer team.
the soccer team, right? They're talking like a European soccer team league.
Yeah.
It was a 30-year goal. And it's like, well, it's in his mind, it's like, well, it's going to take 30 years because I have to go and get a PhD first for some reason. I have to do this and do this. I have to do da, 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 da. And I was like, well, if you shorten like the time horizon from like 30 years down to like 6 months, like what it's like, whoa, okay, well, like if I had 6 months, I had like gun to the head, like you have to do it. He was like, figure out a way. I was like, well, you could probably just start calling a billionaire. And like, what if you start calling up billionaires or you went and met them somehow and then you had a conversation with them and they liked you and you're like, hey, I have this idea, I want to buy this soccer team. It's like this, and I'm going to run it, and like you should invest in it and give me the money. And like, and it's like you just, you know what I mean? It's like that level of thinking, which is like
Yeah.
really like also to go back to what we said at the beginning, the old version of you, it's like you see things so linearly or like
Yeah.
just limited. Where it's like with just like a tiny shift in perspective, you can completely change your life and
Agree.
like a
Yeah.
millisecond.
Yeah. Of course, you can change uh, the reality in which you're living, but you change your awareness and energy within seconds, within milliseconds. You turn on the energy. You got it. Getting it takes you milliseconds.
Yeah.
Getting it, good. You get it. You see it within people when they get it.
Yeah.
When it makes click, the light goes on.
Yeah. I guess in like the David Hawkins world, it's like going from falsehood to truth or into force into power,
Yeah,
that sort of thing. Anyway,
exactly.
anything else that we should talk about that we haven't
Um,
covered a lot?
Man, it was a lot. It was a good one, right?
I
Was
think so.
it-
Yeah.
yeah, I think so too, right?
I think
And
one of the
looking,
like the main thing, like just if you like, there's so much like stuff that you could focus on in sales. Like I think one of the biggest, most important things, which we kind of touched on and circled around, but it's like actionable is your state and having like being at the cause of your state, being able to choose the state that you're in every single day,
yeah,
having what I would call like a self-sustaining state, where it's like where most people, it's like in sales, let's say, if you had a bad call, you feel bad now, and you show up to the call in a worse day, and the person doesn't buy, and that turns into a rut. That's like most people.
yeah,
Like
yeah. I can say something. I think the one of the secret sources in order to master sales is how good are you in forgetting losers, forgetting
yeah,
fails. So
or
this
learning from
this
them and then getting like learning the lesson and then moving on.
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. So if you're business owner, sales rep who's running one call after another, say like, I don't know, 8 hours days and five, seven, 10 calls a day, uh, it's not your script that will make you rich. It's the ability to detach and disconnect from your lessons and failures. This
yeah,
comes out of sports, right? So a Formula One racing driver who's racing the race, let's say one lap it was shit. If
yeah,
he's not able to let go of this lap in his mind, he will crash the car.
yeah, exactly. Well, 100%.
He will crash it. So
There's
people don't. So people in business they don't do that. They swallow. They cement themselves in those pains, in those losses, and this also is really important. In which environment are you in, right? So
yeah,
who's the environment which internally and externally in which you're spending the most time of your life. And if you're in a shitty environment internally and externally, of course, your life will be shit. And this will force you not to forget bad things.
yeah,
Right? And
sure.
so it's really important. I think one of the biggest things in sales is your ability to let go
Yeah,
of past lessons, failures. Yes, learn from them, but don't identify yourself with as them. You're a
yeah,
failure maker, but you're also a failure breaker.
yeah. I mean, I was just rereading Psycho-Cybernetics, and it's talking about like, hey, it's like failure is like it's like a guidance system with a rocket. It's like it fails to hit the target, or it's like, well, that's not the right
Exactly.
way. It's constantly failing and redirecting until boom, it hits the target. Like it's
Yeah,
part of
but
the
you need
process.
the failure. You
Yeah,
need the failure
Yeah, so it's like
Also,
the failure will
the
happen.
data of the failure in order to hit the goal.
Exactly. So it's like you take the action. It's like this is the biggest thing. It's like looking at your sales, or if you're launching new offers, or maybe you're trying to go and talk to girls. It's like it's like a laboratory experiment. It's like you're putting out like a hypothesis, you're getting data back. Okay, I didn't get the result. Let me change something. Boom. And just like it's that process which gets you to the goal so much faster. But where people interrupt it is like they start judging themselves because of
Yeah.
the feedback that they're getting. Like, oh, I'm a bad person. Or it's like, well, no,
Yes.
dude. It's like learn what you can learn and then take action again. You're a bad person if if you like let the feedback like slow you down from taking more action.
Yeah.
Um, it's really that. There's this random book that I was just rereading called The Book of the Five Rings, written by this guy named um, Musashi. Anyway, is this like, this samurai guy, right, from like the 1700s in Japan? And in the book, like this guy was like a sword fighter for all of his life, and then he became spiritual and went and kind of, you know, uh, wrote this scroll in a cave, and then he died. In the book, he talks about like the normal mind, right? So essentially, these when you're learning something, he's like, if like for example, if you're he says if you're on like a horseback, like let's say you're trying to shoot a bow and arrow on a horseback, when you're thinking of shooting the bow and arrow, you always miss. Or when you're fighting
Yeah.
somebody and you're thinking about how you're fighting them, it's like you always will lose. When you're
Yeah.
thinking about sales, like when you're doing it, you will lose because you're not doing it with the normal mind. And so what he's saying is like these principles that you're trying to learn, you have like until they integrate into you, until they're who you are, you're still trying to like because they haven't integrated, you're not able to do
Yeah.
the thing
You're coming
in the
from
normal mind.
force. Yeah.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Yeah.
That was
You're coming
interesting.
from force and not from power. So power is designed by repetition, you know. It's doing it over and over and over and over again and failing and failing and failing and failing and failing and failing till you get it. And at one point, you know you don't move like this, you go straight, right? And this is what failure is. It's there is no failure, there's just lessons. And how what is the story towards failure, right? So this basically goes back to that. And so, yeah, anything else? I think we are pretty
No, I think we can wrap up there. It must be late for you now.
uh what is it? Yeah. Yeah, 11.
Yeah, man. No, I think you know, that's good for now. Mm,
Think so. Man, this was fun.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, if somebody wants to connect with you, what's the best place to find you?
Yeah, find me on Insta. Find me on Insta and looking forward. So somebody wants to connect, find me on Insta and hit me up. Looking forward to how I can serve, how I can help, and even just connect what you liked, what you hated, open for everything, right? And specific questions to something, just hit me up and then looking forward to connect.
Yeah, I'll drop it in or upload this on YouTube. I'll put it in the description.
Yeah,
Cool.
man.
Awesome. Well, I'll just do one of these ones. All right. See you later. Hold on.